I don't remember how to do this. It's been a while.
Welcome to Just a Bit Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Bertazoid Townsend.
I am not like that.
Whoop!
Hello and welcome to the Just a Bit Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Bertazoid Townsend. And here is my co-host today, Amy.
Whoop!
Welcome, Amy.
Hi. Yeah.
How do we do this?
I know, it's been a while.
How do we do this?
I feel out of practice.
I'm very out of practice right now. So yeah, things have been going on, obviously. It's been a couple months since the last episode, and lots happened. And it's actually going to be kind of one of the topics of the show today.
Right.
But, you know, I'd like to start things off just by kind of telling where we've been and what's been going on and, you know, where we're going. So, yeah, let's just get started with that. And actually, we do have some games to talk about. I played Mario Maker 2 and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which I will be talking about. And then, you know, to carry on the conversation of where we've been, I also have a dilemma of not enough time to play games, and so I'm gonna talk about that as well. So, anyway, where have we been?
Man, life. We've moved. We are in a different house now. We updated, or I guess we warned people we were in the transitional phase.
We did say that we were in the transitional phase, which we are, still are. We moved houses probably at the beginning of June.
Yep.
Yeah. So we moved at the beginning of June, and literally, actually, no, it was the last day of May when we closed on this house.
Yep.
And we went on vacation the very next day, which was insane. We were gone for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks on vacation.
I didn't plan that very well, did I?
Well, it didn't happen the way we would have planned, but I'm happy it did happen because, you know, we got a house that we love. And had we not been in the market for a house, I don't think we would have left out with this house. So, yeah, so we got moved. We went on vacation for a week and a half, came back to an empty house
full of boxes.
Yeah, well, not yet. I hadn't moved everything over yet.
That's true.
So we got back from vacation and immediately started working to get all of the boxes out of storage and into here. And yeah, it was a lot of work.
I now remember why moving is ranked as one of the most stressful life events. Like, I honestly had convinced myself or tricked myself, that's not going to be that bad. It won't be that bad. It'll be stressful, but it won't be that bad.
It's very bad.
It's terrible.
Moving sucks.
Oh, my gosh. Enough so where I don't want to move out of this house ever.
I don't either, to be honest with you. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I think we're in a good location. It's a nice house. I'm happy with that. But yes, it is super stressful to move. We have to. It's been 10 years since we moved.
Right.
But when we moved into our first house, we weren't selling a house to get into it.
Right.
It was our first home. So
I think that's why I didn't realize how.
There's a lot of work that goes into getting a house ready to sell. It's a ridiculous amount of time, money, you know,
this should be like titled Life Lessons 101. Like, we'll help you out.
We lived there for 10 years. We had 4 kids, or still have. We have 4 kids. We had dogs. We have, you know, life in that house. In
and
that
we were
small
young.
House.
We didn't paint the way we were supposed to.
We didn't keep up with it as well as we could have, should have.
And the way we will with this house.
And the way we will, yeah. And as a result, we had a lot of work to do. I mean,
and
a lot of painting. Very short amount of time. Between the time that we decided to get this house and get our house on the market.
It was 2 weeks.
We literally had 2 weeks to get our house ready.
Yep.
And
We
that
did it. You put up a fence.
Yeah.
You redid a kitchen.
Yeah.
We painted almost everything.
Yep. I mean, you name it, we
Packed
did
up
it.
a house. Oh my gosh.
Packing, yeah. There was so much to do in so little time. It was go to work, come home, work until I can't work anymore, go to sleep every weekend. Luckily, we had a lot of support. We had family and friends come and
Yes.
help us out, which was incredible. So we got through it, and now we're in this house, and we had to unpack, start getting things ready. You know, we had
Just
extra
to find all the
furniture.
stuff to do this. Like,
Yeah,
you have
so-
to find which boxes it's in, and
We went from a small house to a larger house, and we have more space for more furniture and things like that we
Right.
had to acquire, and so it's been a work in progress, and it still is.
Mm-hmm. So
right now, I'm finally ready to record a podcast, and it's awesome. Like
Yeah.
I've been wanting to for a while, but it's difficult to get everything set up, and then on top of everything else that we have going on. But I'm ready to get back on schedule, and so this is the beginning of getting back on that schedule, our 2-week schedule that we're typically on. Yeah, and I'm working on a game room right now, and I will be posting videos of, or actually probably just a
Transformation?
video,
Yeah.
of the transformation of that room into
Right.
a game room. And it's already looking really nice.
yes, I've had compliments. People who've seen it already are impressed. Yeah,
which is cool, because I painted one wall orange, and then the rest of the walls are all gray, kind of a medium gray. And
I
built
built the gray.
You did, and it's a nice gray. built another video game shelf,
Yep, and that looks nice.
which looks incredible. I'm really happy with it. Found an old entertainment center for my old TV, and it's coming together quite nicely. I'm gonna be posting updates on Instagram. I've already posted my game shelf that I just built on Instagram, and I'll have more updates to add as I progress. But I am also taking video and photos and things in order to make a video to post on our YouTube page.
I kind of like those. Like I
do
like
too.
watching. What are they? They're like the why can't I think of it? They are it's not
The
native.
HGTV.
No, it's not even that. It's the guys who like dig holes in the ground and make mud swimming pools and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
hutches.
yeah.
What are they?
I don't know what they are.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I've seen it on Facebook.
It's kind of like that, but I guess more modern.
Yeah, that stuff is really quite cool. But
But I like
this
those
is
videos
more-
where it's like you start from the beginning and see it. It's fun.
I picture it more like an HGTV
That's true.
show, where you're redesigning, redecorating your room, or one of those. What's that one with is it a husband and wife team?
Fixer Upper.
Yeah.
I am a big Fixer Upper fan.
Not really fixer
you
up
notice,
in anything.
I
But
take a lot of their style.
it looks good in here.
Yeah.
You can't see it, obviously. Oh, and I'm testing a green screen. And I know it's got a lot of creases and things in it, but whatever. I'm making do with what I have.
Maybe I'll iron it next time.
Iron it or get some clips. I need some clips to stretch it out. But ideally,
Can't find the boxes that has the clips.
this whole, getting in here and losing things has been a real struggle. Every time I need to find something, I can't find it. And but anyway, I would love to record in the game room, but the game room is kind of like it's open. It's technically a formal dining room.
Right.
That's what it was intended to be, but we don't need a dining room and a formal
We're not
dining
very
room.
formal people.
No, so
we're not.
I'd prefer to have a game room. So the only way that I could make it work is if the house was empty. Otherwise, it would be pretty loud in there to record.
Right.
And echo might occur and things like that. So
Yeah.
maybe eventually, maybe sometime I can go in there and record. But for now,
Yeah.
we're going to have to record in the room. And instead of a boring white wall, I'm going to try to put something up on this green screen. It's not going to show up very well because of the creases, but I'll do what I can. And that's really only for the people who watch us on YouTube anyway.
Right.
So,
That's true. Because I'm sure there's a lot, right?
No,
No.
it's not. We're a podcast first, a video podcast second. But I do like to have video portions of the podcast. When I listen to podcasts, it's always kind of nice to have the option to see the people talk.
Right.
So that's kind of
How
my
they
intent.
interact.
Yeah. And that's kind of my intention.
Do I make goo-goo eyes at you?
You better. So, yeah, that's what's been going on, and
Ryan is starting the process that we just finished.
that's a good point.
Oh, aren't they supposed to close like yesterday or today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I believe it's tomorrow.
Okay.
They are moving as well. So right after we moved, they, well, actually, they've been in the market to move for a few months, but they finally found a house that they love,
Right.
and they are closing on it tomorrow. So he's going to be in the same boat that we were in.
Right.
So I'm not sure exactly.
Which is why I filled in.
Yeah, well, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be out, and with the moving process, because he's going to be going through what we went through.
Yep.
And but that's okay. The show will
understand.
continue. Yeah. And
I'll keep his seat warm until he's
there you
ready.
go. That's right. Anyway, is there anything else you want to share on that front, where we've been and what we've been doing?
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
even on our vacation, this is kind of video game related.
What's that?
My umbrella.
Oh yeah.
I
had to think about it for a second.
I know,
Go
I
ahead.
could tell. So, we did the whole Florida trip, and
Yeah, we went to Disney World,
and Universal Studios.
Went on an airboat and saw alligators.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
was cool.
Yep. They look like big logs.
We got to see your extended family.
Yeah, and some of them I haven't seen in 20 years.
Yeah,
so,
that was nice. I got to meet a lot of them, and very nice. I thoroughly enjoyed spending time with them.
But one of my favorite parts at Disney was we went to Epcot. And Epcot, I don't know, most people I'm sure know, but they have like different countries surrounded.
Right.
And my favorite is Japan. And I thought it was super cool because you go into Japan.
So, different countries. What she means is, and I didn't know this about Epcot, so.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, I'd never been there and never really looked into it, but Epcot is, it's an area. There's a big pond, I guess.
It's like a world showcase.
Yeah, and it showcases the world surrounding this big pond or lake or whatever you want to call it. And there are, as you walk along, you go from one country to another country to another country. So they have China, Japan, Mexico,
France,
the
UK,
Italy,
Canada,
United States. It's all there, and it's really, really neat. But they create like architecture in the style of those countries, and they have different
restaurants, and everybody who is in
restaurants.
each section of it is from that country.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Germany was one of my favorites.
Germany
they had
was cool.
handmade caramel, however you say it.
Yeah,
That
we
was
had caramel
fantastic.
apples and things like that. But yeah, it was really, really neat. And anyway,
So we
continue your story.
go into Japan, and it's this really neat. It's like a giant store marketplace, and at the very front of it, it just has different things. And the very
It's a
first
bunch of imported Japanese goods that are very expensive. So that's what I remember.
I didn't think it
about
was too bad.
It was expensive. Like anything I saw in there, I could go on Amazon and buy it for half the price.
Well, you weren't in Japan when you did it.
Yeah.
I like the novelty.
It was a gimmick. But
It was, but I found actually Owen, the 5.5-year-old, found this umbrella, and it looks like this. Is it the Master Sword?
Yeah,
the Master Sword from Zelda.
Yeah,
and it is so cool. And I didn't want to like it because I was trying to, and I just loved it.
So it started raining while we were there.
Yep.
And she had to have it.
I did have to have it.
I didn't think we were going to be able to get it back, honestly, because it's so big. It doesn't fold down or condense down. It's a big umbrella, and
my parents just bought an extra suitcase, and we just started shoving
we did have to bring a bunch of extra stuff back.
All of our souvenirs. And they was like, and it wasn't just us, because it was my parents and my little brother and then our entire family. So
Right.
they bought like 3 or 4 extra suitcases just to throw all the souvenirs in.
Well, That's part of the reason. So we went to Animal Kingdom. We went to all the Disney parks.
Oh, you should have been wearing your shirt.
My favorite was Epcot and Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Magical Kingdom was cool, but it was so crowded. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't stand being in the huge crowds for that long.
Yeah.
And the lines were ridiculous.
That last day, we rode the monorail there, got there and saw how crowded it was, and we noped out. Like just noped out. Nope.
We did try to venture through it and turned around and went out. It was just too crowded.
It was too crowded. And we've talked about it before, I have all kinds of broken issues. Like, in all the parks, I have to wear earplugs and sunglasses because too much stimuli makes me dizzy and all weird. So
she has a bunch of
I'm broken.
Weird.
I don't look it, like but I'm broken.
But at Animal Kingdom, the coolest ride we did by far, by a long shot, was the Avatar
Banshee ride.
Yeah, right. I don't remember the name.
It was so cool. We waited 3 hours in line. The
first day we waited hour and a half.
Right, and we thought that was insane.
Which was a long time, yeah. But after we got through the ride, it was so worth it. Like even the line leading up to it was really cool. They theme
everything.
They had this Avatar sitting in a tube with water, and he was kind of floating in it and jerking around a little bit, and he was like huge.
Yeah, the Na'vi
to scale, of how big they are in the movie.
They added in the ride. It's one of those. Is it considered VR or is it what is it?
I would call it VR. Yeah.
Okay, so the VR. But what was cool is you didn't just have the sight of it and the sound of it, but they changed the smells according to where you were flying. They had water spray up at you.
They they didn't try to. They successfully
transported you there.
Yeah, they tried to use every sense that
you're riding on expands, like the Banshee that you're supposed to be riding.
It's almost like a motorcycle. So you sit on this kind of bike, and it's supposed to simulate being on the Banshee.
Right.
And you could feel the Banshee breathing. You could feel the wind in your face, the water splashing in your face, smells of the forest, and everything about it was super cool. And if you look over, you could see everybody else, and all their bikes are moving up and down and everything, and you're in front of the screen. It's those screen rides kind of got old after a while. They're so overdone now, especially at Universal Studios. Like the majority of the rides are that way. They're cool. They're cool at first, but then you start to miss the traditional, just thrill rides.
Right.
But that being said, the Avatar ride was still a leap above all the rest of them. Yeah. And it was awesome.
Also with Disney was pretty good with video game stuff, because I got my Master Sword. We found another restaurant.
In Disney Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that place called? I forget. They had a bunch of, clothing, T-shirts and stuff.
Yes, but I love these shirts.
They had Street Fighter themed T-shirts and a lot of anime T-shirts and stuff as well.
Well, but we were walking. We had to have a date night, which doesn't happen often. When you have 4 kids, getting an alone night doesn't happen very often. So we're walking, and just on the outside of the store, it has these really cool Street Fighter shirts. So we knew that we had to go in and
I love that shirt.
Yeah.
So I got a shirt. It's a green shirt. It has a dog tag in the front that's in a pixel art style.
Yep.
And on the back of it, it has the pixel art of Guile from Street Fighter 2.
Yep.
And underneath it says "Go back home and be a family man" or something like that. It's a quote from the game, and it's super cool. But I got another one that has. I don't wear that one as much. Oh, it has the character select on the back of it. So it's the original Street Fighter 2, not Turbo or Super or any of that. And it has all the characters in their little boxes on the back of it. And then it has Ryu on the front doing a kick or something. Yeah.
But the funny thing is you thought we had lost that one for a little bit.
Yeah, it was just buried in the suitcase. That's all.
Wrong. You looked in the wrong pocket.
So yeah, that vacation was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And we I didn't play very many games while I was there.
But you got 2 on the plane. What'd you play on the plane?
Oh, no, I did. So your brother had Yoshi's Crafted World, the new one on the Switch, or newer Yoshi game. And so I played that while we were there, and actually I still have it. So I'm still playing through it.
I think he's coming tonight, so...
Well, I'm not going to give it back yet. Not until I'm done. Unless he
Hope he doesn't listen.
Unless he asks for it. But that game is incredible.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. It is everything you love about a Yoshi game. And if you've played Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U, you'll have kind of an idea of it, except for it's done in a different style. It's done in like paper cutout style. Mm-hmm. So imagine a traditional Yoshi game like Yoshi's Island, the old Yoshi's Island. But everything is done with cardboard cutouts and paint and, string and different things like that. And it's the art style in that game is just so good. It's really, really, really good. It reminds me of Tearaway on the Vita. It's on the PS4 now too, but it started on the Vita. Mm-hmm. And Tearaway was like a paper craft game where everything in the game was some sort of paper mache or whatever. Mm-hmm. And
I don't think I ever saw you play this game.
Because it was on the Vita. You probably...
I was always asleep when you played the Vita.
And your character is done up in a cutout style. Mm-hmm. He's like an envelope. His head is an envelope. And you're kind of like another character within the game. The Vita lets you have a touch screen on the front and then a touchpad on the back, and they would implement those. Like, for instance, you would poke a hole in a piece of paper to make a hole for him to drop down into using your finger. It just did a lot of really cool creative things like that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the art style was just super creative in and of itself, because they were creating worlds and enemies all through imaginary paper creations, I guess. Yoshi's Crafted World does the same technique, or a very similar technique, and it works wonderfully well. And you can go on different planes. So it's a 2D game, but you can go in the background and you can also go in the foreground.
Right.
And so that changes it up a bit. They encourage you to replay levels to get other things that you may not have gotten your first time around, or they'll send you for specific items. And they'll also have you run through levels in reverse. So you'll start where the end point is, and the start point will be the end point. Uh-huh. And so there's different ways to play, and you unlock new worlds by collecting these stars, and you can use them in these gumball machines also to... Mm-hmm.
This is with Yoshi. Is this Yoshi's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use coins in the gumball machines to get new costumes. I'm not a big fan of the costumes. What they are is they're like cardboard cutouts that will kind of hang on Yoshi, and they don't look like a costume. They just look like if you were to cut out a car out of a box and then let it hang from you, and imagine you're in a car. That's what those are. And I didn't find them to be...
Do they help?
Yeah, they do. They grant you...
that's what I was wondering.
They grant you
like
extra...
the feather and the star. And...
They give you more health and more opportunities to come back after death and things like that.
Right,
so each one has a different stat bonus, I guess. But I don't like wearing them. I would prefer to just have Yoshi. They seem to take up space, and it just... It's out of place. It's just an extra added feature that... to try to... put more life in the game, I guess. I don't really know. It's not really my favorite, but I use them for the stat bonuses.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of that game while we were there. I got a good ways through it. Pretty close to the end, I imagine.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't touched it since we got back. But when we got back, I got Mario Maker 2 shortly after, and also Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is incredible. I want to talk about Bloodstained first. Bloodstained it was a crowdfunded game about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was the creator of... one of the creators, and I believe he brought some of his team, of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is... a lot of people, including my favorite Castlevania game ever. And we haven't really seen anything new in that Castlevania style since I would say the Nintendo DS. I believe this is the last time they had a game out in that style.
Right.
And the style that I'm talking about is a 2D exploration game. So you're exploring this castle to try to level up your character. You're also looking for items that will help you with progressing through the castle. There's some areas that you will come across that you can't access yet. So you find different routes and you find the item that you need or the ability that you need to be able to get through that next section. So the sense of exploration in that game is really, really good. And it's the biggest reason why I loved it. You know, it's I like exploring areas, and if they make them interesting enough, I'll keep going with it, you know. And even though there's backtracking and things, and a lot of people don't like backtracking, it's fun because you know that you can go back and access this area that you know.
I've always liked about you when you play games that are like backtracking. Like, I've always been impressed how much you remember. I think the reason why I would hate backtracking in a game is because I wouldn't remember anything. Like, oh, that's supposed to be there. Like, you got to remember shit for that.
Well, and they also have a map though that tracks those things. So it marks what rooms you've been in. It'll mark where you couldn't get through, but you can get back to it. And any room that you couldn't get into will not be colored in, so you know that you hadn't been there yet. So it does help you along the way. It's not just you have to remember everything, but I mean, yeah, there is still some remembering, but it also is kind of in the same vein as the Dark Souls games, I guess, in that sense, because Dark Souls has the same style where you're exploring an area and you may not be able to get past it, but you have the option to go somewhere else and try to get past that area first and then come back and try it again. So,
and you love Dark Souls series.
I do. And I think it's those games that they're not open world, but they're kind of halfway in between. So there's exploration, but it's enclosed exploration.
Right.
You don't have the freedom to go wherever you want, but you don't really need to or want to. Like it does it well. So Bloodstained is done in that style, and it's done really, really well. It feels like a proper successor to Symphony of the Night.
Right.
The storyline is not really grabbing me so far. It's kind of difficult to follow, but it's and I don't know if it's just difficult to follow or if I just don't care. I think I just don't care.
My guess is you don't care.
Yeah.
You don't play games for the story. I mean, I do.
It depends on the game. It depends on the game. But if the story doesn't grab me right from the start, I'm probably not going to have much interest in it. So in this case, this game hasn't really grabbed me story-wise. Right. But there is a lot of story there to be had. And, you know, I'm sure there are people who will enjoy the story. But I am enjoying exploring. It's so similar to Symphony of the Night that I'm just loving it. Like, my character levels up. I'm able to acquire new abilities, new like clothing and weapons and different things like that change the appearance of your character, but also add buffs to your character as well. Right. And the enemy designs are nice. I mean, a lot of them are kind of representative of the Castlevania equivalent. You know, they'll have a flying type and a Medusa head type and zombie types and things like that. If you've
played the games, you probably get like,
you get it. But
I was waiting for the but because I have heard you say something.
Yeah, this is a big one for me. So I'm playing it on the Switch.
Right. Because you liked the portability of it.
Right.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I've played that game almost primarily handheld, which is why I bought it on the Switch. Right. I love to have the option to play it on portable mode if I need to. Right. And I'm not just tied to the TV. So the Switch version is also probably the most broken version.
Of course.
They did not do a very good job at ironing out the bugs in this game.
For this platform.
For all the platforms.
Really?
Yes. So there's been problems with all of them, but the Switch has had the worst problems. And so there there's been parts in the game where you're reading the dialogue and it will be missing letters. It's really, really weird. Like it'll have a word there, and then right in the middle of the word, it might miss a letter. A letter will be out of it, and it's just like
that's odd.
It's happened. It's happened at least 3 times that I can think of. And yeah, it's really weird. It's just a random bug that didn't get worked out. Another thing that happens is whenever you go from one area to the next, it should be seamless, and it should be like, okay, I'm crossing into this next room. Let's get started. Sometimes I'll sit and wait, 5 to 10 seconds before the game will load up the next area, which is really, really weird.
It's like old
even Symphony of the Night wasn't that way, and that's an old game. That's a 20-year-old game.
I'm sorry, I have a cold, so.
So it's and that's super annoying too. Like even whenever you first start up the game from the menu or from the Switch menu, when you first load up the game, you're gonna wait a good 3 minutes before you can even start the game.
That's crazy.
The load times are insane in that game. It is. It's
annoying. Enough time to get up, probably pop some popcorn, and come back.
Yep. And so in the beginning of the game, you start off on a ship, and you progress through the ship, and then you fight a boss before the game opens up, and then you can go to the castle.
Right.
I made it through the ship, made it to the boss, and the cutscene right before the boss, the game just locks up. A message comes up saying that you have to restart your game because something went wrong.
We were like, no.
I had to restart my game, and I lost all my progress. Like the last time I saved before that was quite a ways.
So you learned to save more.
Well, I do save a lot often anyway.
Right.
But the save point between there and the boss was pretty spread out, and I'd collected a lot of stuff. I killed a lot of enemies, and when you kill enemies, some enemies will grant you special powers that you can use. And it's random.
That would piss me off.
I had acquired a few special skills that were now lost, and I had to go and try to acquire them again randomly. And yeah, after that happened, I was royally pissed off and didn't play it again for a week. Finally, after a week, I picked it back up again and started playing through. Started still encountering some of those same issues. I didn't have it crash on me again, luckily, but.
That's almost as bad as the God of War end fight.
Yeah. When it crashed. Oh, I don't know if I've ever told that story.
I found that video. We have that video. Yeah.
You might have to show that to me.
Okay.
So, actually what she's referencing, and I don't know if I've talked about this before, back when God of War 1, the first God of War came out, I played through it, and I had a hell of a time beating the God of War at the end of the game, the end boss. And, finally, I beat him, and as soon as I beat him, the game froze.
And it was literally like,
Yeah. So I left the game running for like, how long? A long time.
A long time, just hoping.
Hoping that it might like break out of its frozen state, which is really weird. And it never did.
No, it did not.
I had to restart it and do it again.
We'll have to see if we can get that video. I know I saw it. I just don't remember where I found it.
I want to see it again. I didn't even remember recording it.
You were not happy. I think I was recording and showing. Yeah, you weren't. You were not a happy camper at all.
So, yeah, and I did actually go back and beat the boss again fairly easily after that, I think, because once I learned it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. But in Bloodstained, what I'm finding out is the game is hard. It's pretty challenging. After I started playing it again, I didn't have a game freeze on me, but I did get quite a ways into the castle and got killed and had to restart all my progress again from the save point that was quite a ways away from where I started. So what I've learned is if the game bugs aren't going to screw you over, it's going to be the difficulty.
Right.
So save often, absolutely save often, and keep progressing. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I'll progress a little ways, and if I know that I'm running low on health, I might just run back and go resave again, because when you save, it refills your health.
Oh.
And so I can go back, refill my health, save, and then go push at it some more. Maybe I might level up along the way, you know? So that's what's fun about those games is it's like Dark Souls. Like if you get to a point where you can't progress,
right,
you can, farm an area and keep fighting enemies and gathering more souls in Dark Souls, or in this game you're gathering experience to level up your character.
Right.
Make yourself stronger to make it more, or make it easier for you to go through. That's also a big quality of JRPGs in general. Right. And probably one of the reasons why I love playing them so much is because you feel the progression in your character, and you feel the work that you put in to improving your character shows when you are able to get past an area more easily than you were before. And I think that's a gameplay quality that I really am drawn to in a lot of games. But Bloodstained offers this, and Bloodstained is incredible. Don't get me wrong. Like the bugs suck, and I'm probably at a point right now where I kind of want to wait for them to patch it before I start playing it anymore, because I don't want to encounter. Do you think
they will patch it since it was crowdfunded?
They've already stated that they're working on fixing it, but the game's been out for several weeks now, and they still haven't fixed anything. I haven't seen any updated patches, which is unfortunate because it's a really good game, and it's a super addictive game, and I could get lost in it and probably finish it pretty quick. It's not a short game, but I know that once I start, I won't be able to stop playing.
Right. It's a Pringle.
That's right. But I've also been playing Mario Maker 2. Yep. I just got that not too long ago.
What? Sorry, our Alexa. If I say her name.
I don't know that.
How did she hear me again?
Our house is haunted by Alexa.
We have too many Alexas in this house. It's a much bigger house, so we need a way to
communicate. So Mario Maker is really, really a lot of fun. It's more of the same. If you've played the original Mario Maker, you know what you're in for. I didn't do a whole lot of level building in the first Mario Maker, and I'm not doing a lot of level building now. It's just not something that I have the time to invest. I would love to sit there and make a really creative, fun level. But
my cousin is making some pretty cool levels.
He is, and so is my brother. But the learning curve is a little more steep, I'd say, than it was on the other one. On Mario Maker 1, you could use the stylus and easily point and place things. You can't do that on this game, or at least it's not as easy. You have, unless I'm not doing it right. Maybe I can use the touch screen. I don't know. But I'm finding it more difficult to create levels, which is a deterrent for me. Which is okay, because I have more fun playing the levels that other people create anyway.
The kids have made, or Libby.
Yeah, the kids have made some pretty neat levels. Steven has made some awesome levels, but his levels, man,
it is hilarious.
He makes levels that require you to know a skill that you don't know how to do. Yeah. Like the first level he sent to me.
He is like legit. He knows what he's doing. He's
super competitive, so he wants to create a level that encourages you to get the best time on it. So there's a special jump in Mario Maker called a P jump, and you have to use a P block, and you jump up, release the P block, and then jump off the P block, and that will allow you to get a higher jump. It's super difficult to pull off. It is not an easy trick to pull off.
I wish y'all could have seen
the very first area of the game requires you to do that over a wall. And man, I tried, and sometimes I would get it by accident. And when I do get it by accident, you progress to the next area, and he's got all these little spike dudes that are crawling around, and you can't get past him. I couldn't figure out what to do. So I would go and try to get a P block over there with me to kill them. And then I just couldn't get past that part. Well, he came over to the house last week and showed me how to get past it. And I didn't know that you could spin jump on top of those guys and they don't hurt you.
You know what? I do remember that, because you used to be able to do that in Super Mario World.
I totally forgot. So you have to do that to progress to the next spot, and it's frustrating.
But did he enjoy having to show you that? Like,
oh, he enjoys me not being able to get through it.
He's making you a better Mario player. Okay, this is like Mario Boot Camp.
And then he sent me another level that he created that was every bit as hard. And I had a difficult time with that one, but I did finally make it through that one. About 100 deaths later, I made it through.
But you made it.
And
damn it.
Yeah, so those levels aren't really what I'm after. I like a challenging level, but one that doesn't require you to know certain, cheats, special skills that aren't standard for a Mario level or a Mario game. My brother Ryan sent me a few levels too that he made, and his are really fun too. His are also challenging, but they're not. You don't have to cheat a system to make it work. Right. And they're fun and they're creative. Both of his levels that he sent me, actually, he made 3, I believe.
Oh wow!
And they're all really good. So I'm enjoying the heck out of the game. I think it's really good to have it in portable mode because there is a story mode in the game. In the story mode, I don't know if these levels are pre-made and added into the game or if they're uploaded randomly from user uploaded levels. I really don't know how it works, but the story mode, you are rebuilding the princess castle, and it's really generic and not really a great storyline, but it does give you a system of progressing through a bunch of different levels, and it's fun. And it's weird because Mario Maker levels aren't like your traditional Mario levels. They're styled in the same way,
right?
But they have elements that are unique to Mario Maker, such as...
I was going to say, how so?
Such as enemies that aren't supposed to be able to fly, being able to fly.
Oh.
Like walking through an area and then you get all the laughing faces pop up, and you put sound effects and different things. And there's just... Because you can pretty much do whatever you want when you create a level... It allows people to create things that aren't standard in a Mario level. Right. So it feels uniquely Mario Maker in that sense, but you still have the skill set of a Mario game.
Right.
They also added in Mario 3D Land, which was the Wii U Mario. So the Wii U version is pretty cool. So they add cat suits and what else? They add all the different elements from the 3D Land game, and that's really pretty cool. 3D Land was an amazing game, by the way. I really enjoyed it. And it's cool to have this skill set, but it doesn't transition. If you're creating a level in Super Mario 3D Land style, you can't switch it to an old style.
Oh, okay.
So if you are creating a level in Super Mario World or Super Mario 1, you can transition that to Super Mario 3 and still retain all of the same building materials that you made. But you can't do that with Super Mario Land or 3D Land.
You would think with it being so able to tailor
it's because you would think, but it's so different stylistically from the other games that you're just not able to do it. It makes sense, but I don't think they do a good enough job explaining to you that, hey, don't do this or don't switch to this level because you might lose all your information. Luckily, I hadn't built anything very far before I did that, and it wiped everything out. And it did bring up an error message or a warning message, but I still glazed over it and erased what I had created.
Let me just tattle on you. You do that often. As a person who likes to watch and read the stuff, he pushes that button too fast and you can't read things, and then you miss things and you miss story plots.
Let me tell you why I do this. And this actually kind of goes into my next topic.
Oh, okay, good. Please tell me.
I have a difficult time here lately, especially focusing on a video game. I have so many other things on my mind all the time that I need to be doing or working on or accomplishing in some sort of fashion, that it makes it so hard for me to focus on just enjoying a video game. So there are a lot of video games that can do this for me. but it takes getting to a certain step before that will happen. You know, it has to trigger in my brain to turn off, and then it's ADD. It's video game ADD is what I call it. It's hard for me to stay focused on a game, especially when I'm starting a new one.
Right.
And if I'm starting a new game and I want to be able to get into it, I'll start to try to play it and I'll kind of glaze over, especially there are a lot of JRPGs, new ones. They feel the need to make you sit through tutorial after tutorial after tutorial of stuff that I'm never going to remember taking it all in at once.
Right.
So I'll start reading it and I'm like, okay. I want to play the damn game. Let me play the damn game. And, it'll pop up with another tutorial and then, I'll just kind of skip over them and miss them after that. And, I'll be like, oh, I can figure it out on my own. Sometimes you can, but a lot of times you can't. And when it gets to the point where, oh shit, I forgot what it told me to do. If I like the game enough, I'll get online and figure it out. If I don't care, then I'll probably just stop playing the game. But it
is I can tell when you really like a game because of your video game ADD, you usually play multiple games at once. It's like, and when I mean like video game ADD, he'll play for 10 minutes and then he'll switch to another one. And then he'll play for 10 to 15 minutes and then he'll switch to another one. Yeah. And then I know that it's a game that you like if you sit down and just like grind it. It's like God of War.
If I'm on it for an hour, that's a good sign.
God of War, what's another one? It's not Akira. It's the...
Recent?
Right. It's...
Sekiro?
Nope. Yakuza. You did that with Yakuza?
Zero? Yep. I played that entire game. Well, the entire second half of that game in one day.
That never happened. So that's when I know that you really like it. And I know that you're going to be super excited on the podcast. You're like, okay.
That game really, really sucked me in. But other games do that too. I mean, it just really depends on the mood that I'm in and the game that I'm playing. Here lately, yes, video game ADD has hit an all-time high, extreme, because there are a lot of things that I need to be doing.
I was going to say, you have such a hard time sitting and just relaxing. Like
I can't do it. I cannot turn my brain off.
I need to be able to turn my brain off. And I'm still playing my tried and true game. And it's funny. You always roll your eyes at me when I play my game because there's a million things that need to be...
Her game is Call of Duty, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just figured if people have listened this far, they'd know I am a Call of Duty addict.
Yeah. Which is funny to me because I lost interest in Black Ops months ago. I lost a lot.
Video game ADD.
I don't think it's just... Well, maybe it is that. But I felt like the game, while they are updating the map in certain ways, like changing the style of it. They're doing the Fortnite approach where they're changing the style of the map. I feel like I need
They have different gameplays. And you were talking to me that. Now, I know he loves me though, because sometimes when I really want to play, I will invite you and you will begrudgingly sit down and play the game with me.
And it's not even that it's because I'll play it because I want to play it with you. I don't want to play that game though. So
I know.
I just kind of
do it. We're going to try and do some Destiny and
but it's also I also get to talk to Brody when he's on too, which is nice.
And I have a group of people that I play with. We learned how creepy people are just recently.
Yeah. We did an episode on, being a girl gamer. Yeah. Well,
let me just tell you one last thing to that. Don't ask a girl what she looks like. Well, how is that relevant to the game at all? Like, don't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend you." It's like, why ask a comment like that? Yeah. I should have just told him I was like a 400-pound...
This was a random dude on the other team that was either next to her when she died or was the one who killed her.
I killed him. Yeah.
And overheard, because when you're near somebody, you can hear them talking.
Right.
And so he overheard that.
And my screen name, you can see that. Yeah. it kind of alludes to me being a woman.
So that to him was an invitation to try to hit on you through messages.
Well, but he tried to pretend it wasn't hitting on. Like I was.
It was blatantly.
It was so bad, so bad.
It's really, really sad and unfortunate that there's so many people like that.
And I wanted to give it a chance because, like, maybe you can steer it away. Because a lot of times, like, I get it, being girl, and a lot of times I'm the only tits on a game, and it's like a novelty for a second. And then most people will bring it down and be like, oh, yeah, let's just play the game. But then there's these people who come on, man.
I told her not to give them the time of day, and that's really what you should do. Just ignore them altogether.
Well, we've now changed my settings.
Well, yeah. So right after that happened, we went in and set all of her privacy settings to friends only. So
right.
We don't have to worry about that
because I
anymore.
mean, scary things happen. People are crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, the problem that I'm having is every time I try to sit down and play a game such as, Bloodstained or Sekiro. I'm still working through Sekiro. Sekiro, by the way, I went a month or two without playing it and was able to pick it up and start playing it again. I have those controls memory or muscle in my muscle memory.
That's good.
Which is incredible because that doesn't usually happen. Also goes to show how great of a game it is. But, between that and what else have I tried to play? There's been a few other games that I've tried to play that I just... Every single time I sit down and try to focus on it, it's like, I need to go paint this wall, or I need to go unpack these boxes, or pick up this room, or I need to work on this side job that I have, or I need to help the kids with something, or I need to take the kids to the park, or I need to go to the gym.
I wish you could chill, man.
I can't. I absolutely
It's so
cannot.
funny though. Your to-do list never ends. Our to-do list ends when we die. So
True.
I would rather I want to get my shit done, but I also want to give me time. So
And I agree with that sentiment. I really do, and I want to do that. But I'm telling you, you have ADD as well.
Yeah, I do.
Your ADD is you can't turn your brain off. You're thinking about other things constantly.
I'm doing multiple things at once.
You complained this to me all the time. For me, it's the same situation. I can't turn my brain off, and instead of thinking about random things, random thoughts, I'm thinking about random things I should be doing.
Well, and it's funny, and that's why I play games though, because and the reason why I play multiplayer games, I'm able to talk and I'm able to move. I am multitasking, and it's like my brain is able to do all those things at once. And since I can do it in one platform, it's almost like I can bring it together.
I think it also helps though when you're playing a multiplayer game, because you can talk to whoever you're pling with.
Right, I'm multitasking.
And it kind of takes you out of your head for a minute.
Yeah.
At least for me, whenever I jump in on one of those games, it does kind of take me out of it. But it takes a little bit for it to get to that point. When I first started, especially if I'm go, 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 and then all of a sudden stop and start playing, I can't do that. It's pains me to think about all the things I should be doing. And
Not a problem.
But it also feels like
you're like the reluctant video game host.
I am right now I am, and this wasn't an issue before we moved. I do have this problem,
right,
but it's even more extreme now because of all the things that we have going on.
Right.
I feel like I'm behind on so many things, and granted, it's part of being an adult, and I understand that. You have more responsibilities as an adult. I work. I have to come home from work and take care of the responsibilities at home that I need to take care of. So it's very difficult for me to find the time to game. But it is a hobby that I love, and it is a hobby that I don't want to give up on, and it's something I do to help ease my mind.
I would be terrified if you gave up on it, just so you know.
Oh, I won't. It's been so much a part of me since childhood.
That's how I wooed you. I dangled a GameCube in front of you, and you were mine. So
you bought me with a GameCube. So true. But it's still it's a struggle, and I wish that I could somehow train myself to manage my time in a way that I can, if I knew that I could be working on this at a different time and it's on a schedule to be worked on at that time, then I think I could turn my brain off a little bit easier.
But then it would be a chore and not fun, right?
What?
Like if you
Gaming?
planned it, yeah.
No.
It's a chore.
It's not a chore. It's like, okay, I've allotted this amount of time to play games and not think about anything else. I think if I were to do that, I think I could more easily turn my brain off.
Right.
But right now it's more of a challenge because I feel like I'm on a time restraint with a lot of things.
And I think it's also, like you said, our age. Like, we are not kids anymore. We have so many responsibilities.
So, I mean, with moving, it creates a bigger financial responsibility. So, you know, that's another part of it. You know, we have to invest more time into work. You know, we have to invest more time into helping to get the house furnished and unpacked and still, you know, do our daily routines of, you know, cooking meals, and, you know, taking care of kids, making
and giving
sure they're
them
provided
quality
for,
time too. It's not,
exactly.
because that's important to us. We really are very family centered, and
I don't want to neglect my kids, and I don't. So it's very important to me to spend as much time with them as I can. And that's another thing. Like, I do not play video games until after they go to bed. That has always been my rule, and it will always continue to be my rule as long as they're in the house. It's just they're
getting older, and they're getting to be like
they
lost
grow up
in
so
their
fast.
phones.
They grow up so fast. They do. And I want to spend as much time with them as I can before they're out of the house. You know, I love my kids and I love Amy and I love my family. And, you know, if it at all feels like video games are getting in the way of that, then that's a problem. That's never been an issue with me. I feel like I'm really good at managing my time. But I also feel like my hobbies are suffering as a result, specifically gaming. You know, I would love to get into more illustrating and things like that too. You know, it just, there never seems to be enough time in the day to do everything that I want to do. I've often said, if I could forego sleeping, I totally would. I totally would.
Not me, man. I love sleep.
If I didn't need to sleep, if I could just like not need sleep, I think I would just flourish. Maybe not. Maybe you need that break. That, you know, mental break.
I know I would.
But it's still like, you know, there's just so much to do.
What about you guys? I mean, people who listen, like,
I am curious to know. I mean, like, how do you guys feel about managing your time?
Yeah.
Is it something that's easy for you? Is it difficult for you? Like, you know, especially
give
those,
us tips, please.
Yeah, especially those of you who have a family and kids and things like that. I'm curious to know how you do it. I know a lot of my friends who enjoy gaming don't game nearly as much as I do.
Right.
And, you know, I know why. I mean, first of all, it's probably not, you know, they're not as into it as I am. I'm more passionate about it, I think, than
you've been more invested in it, right?
But, you know, we still manage to find time to play games together, you know, or we used to anyway. But it's just, it's something that I would love to be able to work through. And I think as time goes on with this house and we get everything established, I think I can finally start to calm down and relax. Because I was in that mood with the other house before we decided to move.
Right.
You know, there wasn't a whole lot that I needed to really take care of. We were established, and you know, I think that I can get back to that point, and that is the goal. But I mean, not only that, but the podcast. I love doing the podcast.
Right.
The podcast takes a lot of time.
It literally took me being like, okay, it's been long enough. Let's do it. Because you had this whole list. You kept adding to your to-do list. I'll do it after this. I'll do it after this.
And, you know, I was pushing the podcast
I was thinking of you guys.
It's and I love doing the podcast. To me, the podcast is a kind of an outlet for me to talk about things that I enjoy in my hobby. You know, let Amy hear me out when I'm talking about it.
Hey, I'm gonna hear it anyway, so why not?
It's something that I really enjoy talking about. So it's a good outlet for me. But yeah, I mean, we'll end the podcast on that. I would like to hear what you guys think, and you know, how do you manage your time? How do you?
I'm telling you, this is like a life lesson.
How many of you out there have video game ADD? How many of you are like me in that sense? You know, I can't be the only one. I know I'm not the only one. In fact, I'm probably part of the majority here. So, anyway, guys, I would appreciate if you follow me on Instagram or follow the show on Instagram. Right. It's at jabgcast.com. No, that's the website. Yeah, you go to the website, you'll find the Instagram link there.
Yeah.
www.jabgcast, JABGCAST. Instagram is at jabgcast, and that is also where I will be posting game room updates and things like that. And I've also been finding some cool little trinkets and treasures in boxes that I'd forgotten about from my childhood, drawings and things like that I'm going to start posting as well. So,
that'll be cool.
Yeah, expect to see more posts on Instagram. That'll be coming very soon. And also for you audio listeners, if you are interested in seeing the video portion of the podcast, plus other videos that I'm going to try to do in the future, especially the building of the game room or the designing of the game room, please follow me on, or follow the show on YouTube, and it's just a bit gaming.
Yep.
Look us up. That's going to do it for this week's episode. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Back in the schedule.
We're back at it. So see you next time.
Bye, guys.